Hi everyone, I'm Sophie. I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And now I will continue sharing from The Promise. That's the biography of my guru, His Eminence, the 25th Sem Tuku Rinpoche. And we will start from page 143. Whatever little money he brought in, he gave it to the center because he was living there. He bought food for everyone. He shared. He'd always share everything he had. One time we had a little retreat and I got sick. I got a cold. And the only person who took care of me, who was interested in me, and I wasn't a nun at that time, was Rinpoche. He came, he brought me tea, he brought me food, he tried to bring me blankets to keep me warm. He took care of me, only him, nobody else. Anila Loxandroma, formerly Marjorie Buckspan, Dharma friend from Tutten, Darjeeling. Hollywood beckons, a possible future in the movies. Page 145. As a tall, good-looking 18-year-old Asian boy, Rinpoche attracted attention wherever he went. Because of his exotic looks, he was often even solicited on the streets for adult movies, so Rinpoche had to quickly learn how to avoid those types of situations. At TDL, Rinpoche once received a message from Paramount Studios. They were producing a Tibetan theme movie and were looking for someone who was well versed in the custom and traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. The studio had heard about a Mongolian boy in LA who was very familiar with Tibetan altars. The agent who called was a lady named Joyce. She asked if Rinpoche would be interested in going to the studio for an interview and to assist in the stage setting of altars. The message had been left on an answering machine in Geshe-la's apartment, and a nun, who was Geshe-la's secretary, told Rinpoche about the message. Excited, Rinpoche asked her for Joyce's contact number. Smiling, she replied that she had erased the message by accident. Rinpoche asked if she could rewind the message and try again, and the nun, still smiling, said again that the message was definitely gone. Rinpoche asked her to ensure that she wrote the number down the next time Joyce called. The nun happily agreed. Joyce called back the next day, but when the nun told Rinpoche the news, she said, apologetically, sorry, I erased the message again. The next day, the studio called one final time. This time, the nun wrote down the number, but then lost the piece of paper it was written on. A while later, when Rinpoche was working as a secretary at a realtor's, he received a call from an agent of a TV station who was looking for a Mongolian speaker as a voice-over talent. At the studio, Rinpoche met up with the agent, a very attractive lady named Joyce Baker. She looked very professional and even carried a briefcase. Upon meeting him, she exclaimed, "Oh my God, did you get a call from Paramount from a lady named Joyce a while back?" "It was me. Why didn't you return my call?" Rinpoche said, "I tried, but the lady who received the messages kept losing the number. What movie was it for?" "It was for The Golden Child. I needed you to work on the set to set up the altar for a scene with a lama." "How did you hear about me?" "I called a few Dharma centers and they told me about you." She was not upset that he did not call her back, but she kept repeating, "You should have called, you should have called." Rinpoche did the Mongolian voiceover for a puppet show and was paid about $360. He also received royalties whenever the show was aired. It was very exciting for a teenager and a lot of money for an hour's work. Page 146. And you see some pictures of Rinpoche. Page 147. Living in LA. Dance. Dharma. Dance. How could you be in Los Angeles and not have the time of your life? Young, gorgeous, and full of energy, Rinpoche lived it up in the heart of LA, going out to clubs at night and driving around Sunset Boulevard and West Hollywood with his many friends. It was 1980s, a time of big hair, skin-tight jeans, and discos. Rinpoche loved to dance, and his favorite artist was, and still is, Madonna. He always looked too young for his age, and the doorman often thought his ID was fake. One of the members of TDL kindly lent him the use of her 1972 Volkswagen Beetle, which he would use to sneak out from the center by releasing the handbrake and letting it roll slowly down the hill, so as not to disturb Geshe-la with its loud rumbling engine. Caption of the picture: Rinpoche loved to dance. Page 148. Caption of the picture: Everybody listened to Madonna. It was instant happiness. Sam Rinpoche. Page 149. After late nights out at the clubs, Rinpoche would come home to his rented room, which was just under Geshe-la's, at about 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and just crash. The next morning he would be up again at 10 a.m. for Dharma classes with Geshe-la. Despite his busy work and social life, Rinpoche never forgot his spiritual practice. No matter how late he stayed out, he would always make it a point to finish his sadhana before going to bed. Sometimes he would rush home between clubs to complete his sadhana before going out to the next party. After a late night of clubbing with his friend Diane, he would go home, call her, and keep her awake so they could do their sadhanas together over the phone, just to make sure she did not miss it and break her spiritual commitments. Rinpoche would make many new friends when he was out partying, but he would always end up talking to them about Dharma. Some would start coming to the center for Dharma classes after talking to him. For Rinpoche, the Dharma was always of the utmost importance. Everything else was secondary. Caption of the picture on the top right: Rinpoche and Eric, one of his good friends in LA. And the caption of the picture bottom left: Despite outward appearances as a fun-loving teenager, Rinpoche's priority was always the Dharma. He would never miss doing his sadhana and always attended Dharma classes, regardless of how late he had stayed up the night before. Page 150. The caption: I was blown away seeing the way he was with Zong Rinpoche. I realized that was how we should have been treating Geshe-la all along. Sam Rinpoche. Page 151. Meeting Zong Rinpoche, a connection from previous lives. It was at Thubten, Darjeeling that Rinpoche first met the greatly renowned master from Ganden Shatze Monastery, His Holiness Kabje Zong Rinpoche, who was scheduled to teach at the center for 6 months at the invitation of Geshe Sotrim Gyaltsen. This meeting and the time spent with Zong Rinpoche completely changed the young Rinpoche's life. Upon sight, the 17-year-old Rinpoche immediately recognized Zong Rinpoche as his root guru. There was an instant affinity between the both of them, which everyone around recognized as unusual. Page 152, the caption: According to His Holiness Khapje Dzong Rinpoche's assistant, Dzong Rinpoche very rarely held anyone's hand. From this photo, it is clear that the guru-disciple relationship between Dzong Rinpoche and Sam Rinpoche was unusually close and special. (153) The teenager Rinpoche first laid eyes on Dzong Rinpoche when he saw an image of this Lama on the dashboard of a friend's van. An overwhelming faith spontaneously arose in Rinpoche, and he asked his friend who the Lama was. His friend said, "Oh, you don't know? He's an emanation of Heruka. That is what they believe him to be." His friend told him that the Lama in the photo was Geshe-la's guru, Dzong Rinpoche. Rinpoche immediately asked if he could have the picture, and it soon took pride of place on his altar. A few weeks later, it was announced that Dzong Rinpoche would soon be visiting the center in Los Angeles. Elated upon hearing the news, Rinpoche made 100 prostrations every single day to the image of the Lama he had yet to meet. In his mind, he wanted to make a strong connection to this Lama, whom he was absolutely sure was a Buddha. As he prostrated, Rinpoche thought, "May I have a strong connection with you. May I receive teachings from you. May I become attained just like you. May I receive the lineage from you." Just before Dzong Rinpoche's arrival at TDL, Geshe-la advised his students on protocol. As Dzong Rinpoche was Geshe-la's guru, the students were to show deference to Dzong Rinpoche first, and not to Geshe-la. He explained, "Dzong Rinpoche is my guru, so if you prostrate to him, I'm included in it as well." Geshe-la even instructed the students to prepare new sheets, separate plates, and cutleries, especially for Dzong Rinpoche. Rinpoche was given the special task of setting up the center's main altar, supervised by Geshe-la himself. Rinpoche cleaned the whole altar from top to bottom and rearranged the statues so they would be just perfect for the Buddha who would soon be arriving. Geshe-la was already in his 60s then. He was an erudite scholar, master, and author, and yet around Dzong Rinpoche, he behaved like a novice monk who had just entered the monastery, humble, quiet, and highly devoted. Page 154. Serving his root guru. Young Sam Rinpoche was chosen to be His Holiness Khapje Dzong Rinpoche's assistant despite his youth, dressing, and radical hairstyle. That was the caption of the picture. I made prostrations because I did not know how long I could be with him, and I did not want to prostrate to a statue. I wanted to prostrate to the living Buddha, Sam Rinpoche. And with that, I would end my session here today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And I will end it with the completion dedication prayer in Tibetan. Jangjub Sencho Rinpoche, Makepanam Geshe, Kepanam Pamipayang, Gone Gondo Pewasho, Tony Tonga Rinpoche, Makepanam Geshe, Kepanam Pamipayang, Gone Gondo Pewasho. Daso Jini Sapagi Wadi, Danang Tuwa Gumagang Padang, Dipati Sulu Santapai, Tamping Limpong Intesa, Sesho, Kewa Kukuyan Dalam Madang, Rami Jodi Palang, Jodi, Sadambang Niyak Devazone, Jodi Chami Matawakus, Kewa Di, Yudeda, Lama Sanjodo, Dewa Chika Malupa, De Sala Gopashu, Jopika Pusuntapa, Josuna Papewala, Jodi Sama Siwada, Tinti Malu Sawasho, Dadam Sumi Dusunda, Dewa Sami Latini, Dewa Lasam Trapai, Kampayo Riba, Yushi, Nima de la Zendele, Nimi Vinyan Dialogue, Nisinta to the Lapel, Kuntu Sumi Dingilo, Kuntu Sumi Motus, Kuntu Sumi Trasi, Show, Jesu Lama Kusema Kuji, Yang Katrini Joto Ke Badang, Los Tempe Tomi Subsum, Go and Musaka Kuni, Yushi, Down with our Toshi Ganda, and then there were Mali, Jordan Zit, and Tenzin, so Chapishi, they body, Yushi. Home, don't be not to Malufa, then the Dala Saudi, so go and then Palo Joknam, keep us social shootings. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again